In part 1 of this series, we talked about why strategy is important for animation. Now in the second part of this 3-part series, I'm going to talk about how to create a strategy to use on animation projects. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about putting together a strategy. This will probably sound difficult at first, but the key is knowing what you're looking for and asking the right questions to get you the information that you need to be able to make the right decisions during production. It's important to note that with strategy, there's no templated solution that will answer every business's problem. Even 2 companies in the same industry with the exact same revenue would need a different strategy. That's because they have different problems that they're trying to solve, they have different goals, and they have different metrics that they're working with. It all starts with a conversation, not spec work, not a pitch, and no presumptions. No matter how confident you are that you can make something that looks great, you must make sure you completely understand your client's audience, their business goals, and the expected financial impact before going into production. You do that so you can be sure that you're truly making the right decisions to help your client grow their investment. Know the audience. Your client's audience plays a big role in strategy. That's because they're essentially the end user that you're actually creating for. You want to make sure you completely understand their current audience, their target audience, and the problems your client's product is helping them with. Normally, I spend a bit more than half of the time during strategy sessions just understanding this one thing. Know the goals. One of the other 3 focuses is a client's goal. This is really big for understanding expectations of working together. You likely have to ask why or how quite a bit here to really get to the bottom of how you can help them reach their goal. It's important that you can say simply with a single sentence what they want or need to happen. For example, maybe they'll say something like, I have a new product that I want to introduce to the world. You can respond with, how are you planning on doing that specifically? They might respond with, email marketing. You can say, why email marketing? Maybe they'll say something like, because we have an email list of 10,000 subscribers that have signed up to get more information on our site. You can say, great, having an effective landing page with an animation is a great way to convert sales from email. And then you can go on to say, converting 1% of an email list to sales would be average for a great campaign. How many sales do you expect to make? They might say, we haven't really thought about it, but 1% would be 100 sales. That would be fantastic. And right there is the goal of the project. It's okay if you help them find a goal, but they should be clearly on board to call it the official goal to base all of your production decisions on. It's really important to note that there should be only one goal in every animation. One of the biggest problems with video and animation is that people want to pack in as much information as they can, but it's not realistic to reach several goals at the same time. The simpler the message, the easier it is to remember. Know the financial impact. The last part of building this strategy is understanding the financial impact of working together. Let's take those 100 sales from before, and by simply asking how much each customer is worth to them, you can find out what they'd stand to gain from reaching their goal. If the average customer buys $200 worth of products, then the total amount to be gained would be about $20,000. Theoretically, as long as your animation costs less than $20,000, it makes financial sense. However, if they only make $1 per sale, then they only make $100. If they paid you $10,000 to make that happen, the project would be an absolute failure no matter how beautiful it was. If a client can't see growth on their investment, you should not take on the project because that would be borderline theft. Some other questions that I ask whenever I'm trying to formulate this strategy, stuff like, describe your product or service. Explain any current branding and your positioning in the market. How is your product or service unique? How many people purchase online versus in-store? How many weekly sales do you currently make? Describe the demographics, psychographics, behaviors, and geographics of your audience. What problem do you solve for your customers? This is just a few of the probably 25 to 50 more questions that I ask based on where conversations go. It's really all about listening and trying to uncover information that will help you make their project successful. Sometimes you get into the strategy process and you find that the client doesn't actually need an animation. Maybe they need a website or some kind of change to the way that they're actually doing business. A couple years back, I was talking with a potential client and found that they had too many problems in their business for something high level like animation to really help them. I ended up walking away from thousands of dollars and left with the advice of talking to FedEx to resolve their inconsistent shipping costs. When you specialize in an area like animation, that doesn't mean animation is always the answer. Instead, you should always be listening and trying to find if and where it can fit into their business. If animation is not the answer, it's your responsibility to tell them so, no matter how hard that might be. Once you have all the information you need for the strategy, it's then time to put together the map. This could also be called the brief. You essentially want to put together a document that is constantly looked at to answer all questions throughout production by everyone involved in the process. There's really no one specific way to put one of these together, but it should be relatively short, it should be clear, and it should include all information that you believe to be important in reaching the client's goal. As always, thank you for watching. Tune in next Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for part 3 of this 3-part series on creative strategy for animation. I'll see you next week for the next episode of The Zwelly Show.